The Pulse Community Podcast is sponsored in part by SOS. For more than 55 years, the SOS Caring for Community at Christmas program has ensured that local children, youth, adults, and seniors experience the joy of the holidays. The thrill of finding a gift under the tree, the happiness that comes from sharing food that has special meaning. To donate to the SOS Caring for Community at Christmas program, visit sosd69.com or call 250-248-2093.
Here come Peter, here comes Dave. Oh, listen. Bringing stories, making waves, no missing. Spinning tales in the podcast cave, so sweet. Laughs and insights everywhere, what a treat. Peter and Dave, they're on the mics, all right. Join the ride, it's gonna feel just right.
Yep, time to check your pulse, people. Thanks for listening to the Pulse Community Podcast with Peter and Dave. He is Peter McCulley.
And he's Dave Graham.
He has a nose for value, and I'm told I have a face for radio, so I think we're pretty much ready to go here. On this episode of the podcast, we are going to be chatting with a couple of folks who made a successful appearance on Dragon's Den.
Manjit offered us a deal first, and as soon as Manjit offered, we're like, oof, okay, we can relax. We got a deal on TV. This is what we wanted. This is what we came for. Manjit offered a deal, and we're like, okay, and then all the other dragons started offering deals.
We're also checking in with Geoff Ball from Milner Gardens as they feature their annual Christmas Magic show.
We tried to count the number of lights, and we got so busy that we just couldn't spend time counting it. But at that point, we were at about 50,000 lights. That was 10 years ago, and we've grown tremendously. So we're certainly well over 100,000 lights. If somebody wants to volunteer, we would love to have someone come out and do the math and walk around with a ticker, but probably getting a well over 125,000 lights or so.
We're also going to hear some folks who attended a very special occasion. It's a concentration of goodwill, and there's bacon, the annual toy drive at Tinamara for SOS.
Dave, your return to the airwaves has not gone unnoticed. As a matter of fact, I received a note from the office of the Prime Minister.
What?
Yes. It reads like this. Congratulations to you, David John Graham, on being back on the air, so to speak, with your podcast partner, Peter McCulley. And just so you know, I have a better sense of humor than that guy. What do you suppose he means by that? He says, I'll be downloading your episodes each week, especially the ones with travel tips, because, spoiler alert, I like to travel. Yours truly, JT. P.S. Thanks for dragging me out of that big surf in Tofino a couple of years back. I really didn't think that CPR was called for. However, the security team seemed somewhat amused. So you got to know him pretty well.
Up close and personal, as they say.
Speak to us on the Pulse Podcast. You can tell us what's on your mind on our Speak to Us online link. You can tell us whether you like our jokes. You can use your phone or your computer and speak to us in your own words and your own voice. And you can also text us. Tell us about your first concert, your favorite concert, or comment on Dave's return to the on-air studio, the podcast cave, as it were. You'll also find links in the story notes at thepulsecommunity.ca.
Also on the website, you'll find weekly contests where you can win a prize that we have hidden in the Tickle Trunk by guessing where the Tickle Trunk is. We'll offer up a clue, and you can text or email us to have your name put in the weekly draw. Our first prize will be a $25 smile card from Thrifty Foods. The clue is, this is a recent addition to the PQB area. You can go round and round it, but if you look in the middle, you'll see the Tickle Trunk sitting next to it. Correct answers go in a draw for a $25 Thrifty Foods Smile Card. Draws December 12th, 2024.
Can we have that clue again?
The clue is, this is a recent addition to the PQB area. You can go round and round it, but if you look in the middle, you'll see the Tickle Trunk sitting next to it.
I think I know what it is, but I can't win a card, can I? No. Okay.
You pieced together the clues, did you, Sherlock?
I think so, yes. Hey, Dave, I ran into a couple of celebrities, 3, actually, at the Tinamara Toy Drive. Ed Bain and Jeff King from The Upside were there, as well as you know who. Ed, the big question, how many pieces of bacon did you have this morning?
Well, you've caught me just in the lineup, so I haven't really got my both pockets full just yet. Just one.
Geoff, and you?
I'm going to dip into Ed's pockets later, actually, is what I'm going to do. But great to be here. I think this is our 4th or 5th year being up at the beautiful Mair Resort. Great to see the community, and what a great breakfast and toy drive they put on each year.
And it's great that it's supported from all over the island. I know you guys are coming up from Victoria. We've got folks from Courtenay, Nanaimo. It all helps. Have you seen anybody here from Victoria this morning?
Well, we met lots of people that were here last night, actually, that are staying here. So people love coming to stay here at Mair, as we do. But you're right, the event is supported right across the island. But boy, the local support is really something else, particularly Canadian Tire, who really helps with the Bikes for Tykes program here. The staff donate money off their checks every month for the entire year. And I think they have well over 45 bikes this year that they're donating, brand new bikes to the SOS, so they can get those under the trees for some people that wouldn't otherwise have anything to have on Christmas morning. So hats off to Canadian Tire and all the local sponsors that help out with this event.
And Geoff, it would appear that the need is greater wherever you go these days. I know you two are always out in the community.
Yeah, sadly, that's the case. I mean, we're doing our big drive for the Salvation Army and a concert, and we run across the food banks all over the island, and yeah, everyone's in need. And the nice part is, look at the turnout today. People are stepping up to the plate, and they're making sure that they give what they can. So, I mean, it's sad on the one hand and heartwarming on the other.
I'd like to finish filling up this other pocket with bacon, if you don't mind.
And I also ran into Mr. Worldwide himself.
Oh, you're so hip.
So I bumped into you-know-who, Santa Claus, Chris Kringle, at the toy drive here at Mair. How are you?
I'm very well. I'm enjoying Mair's breakfast toy drive, and it's grand to so many people having breakfast and bringing toys. And the Mair did the Bikes for Tykes. That was fantastic again. I did see the Grinch here this morning. He does show up, and we had a chat, and away he went, and away when he went his way, I went mine, and we will leave it at that.
I would think that things are pretty busy at the North Pole right now.
They are busy and getting busier because they're running down on time, and that's fine. We're always ready for the 25th for the big ride.
We'll look forward to seeing you. You got my list, I hope?
I have your list, and I've checked it twice, and you got to work on the naughty side of it. You're penciled into good, but that's it.
I'm trying.
You're trying. Well, like I said, that's why you're penciled in. You can make it. You have time.
Okay, make sure you stop at my buddy Dave Graham's house.
I will stop at Dave Graham. I know Dave Graham very well.
But I'll give you a heads up. He doesn't clean his chimney.
Oh, be warned. Thank you. I'm warned. Thank you very much.
Okay, Santa. So, Dave, while we were listening to Santa Claus, I thought we were going to get a call from Lissa Alexander about the final results from the SOS, but I see that we may have missed the call. Our Speak to Us phone, the thing over there on your desk that looks like the bat phone, it's blinking. Can you punch the button and see if that's a message from Lissa?
Oh, that's what that thing is. Okay, well, let me just punch this button here, see who we have.
Hey, Peter and Dave. It's Lissa Alexander here from SOS. I wanted to leave you a message with the results from the incredible Mair toy drive that took place December 4th. A record-breaking number of gifts were donated, with 2,710, up from 2,527 in 2023. The value of the gift cards donated was 6,374. The cash and checks totaled 22,446. Plus, we received a $1,500 grant from RBC Royal Bank in Parksville. A record was also set for the 2-week pre-event breakfasts with 1,211. Mair staff donated 45 bikes and 40 gift cards for helmets through their Bikes for Tykes program, which is another remarkable achievement. All the gifts and gift cards collected are being organized into our toy shop at our Community Services Center in Parksville as we speak. Here, low-income parents, caregivers, and grandparents will shop for free for their children, assisted by our volunteer elves. The financial donations will help purchase grocery store gift cards so families and individuals can choose food that's important to them over the holidays. We would like to thank everyone who came together to help this event become so successful. The team at Mair, the sponsors, the volunteers, and everyone who attended and supported the event. It's so heartwarming to know that we have such a caring, generous, and compassionate community. Merry Christmas, Peter and Dave. Hope you both make it onto Santa's nice list this year.
Alyssa Alexander there from the SOS. And a big thanks to all the folks, including a lot of people who work at Tinamara who took time off, personal time, to make that morning a success.
And the thing I really enjoy about the Tinamara Toy Drive, I've been going now for 13, 14 years. I think it is the best community event in the PQB area, bar none.
I'm with you.
One of the things that I really like about it is that there are a number of businesses that show up. It's becoming a thing, like they've made it a tradition.
It has grown through the years. I like the way the resort has sort of adjusted how they view things. We used to count the success in number of breakfasts served, and then they switched a little bit and have recorded number of gifts presented or money donated, which is a much better focus, and because that's what it's all about.
That's exactly what it's all about. The Pulse Community Podcast is brought to you in part by Ian Lindsay and Associates. Ian Lindsay of Lindsay and Associates has played an active role in the local community since 1979. Ian's been with RE/MAX, Vancouver Island's most advanced real estate business network since 1996, marketing and selling residential, rural, strata, recreational, investment, and project development real estate. Ian has received several awards recognizing his exceptional community commitment locally, as well as awards for outstanding performance and achievement from both RE/MAX International and the Vancouver Island Real Estate Board. You'll find true real estate professionals at ianlindsay.ca.
You know, I bet Ian knows a good person who can fix a fence or two. You know, that storm recently brought down quite a lot of fences and other things, trees too.
Yes, we should send a shout out to all the crews that got the power back on. I know living in Parksville, I was without power for 11 hours, which is probably the longest I've been without power in 15 years.
Oh, you poor dear.
Yeah. I know you were out for a lot longer than that.
Oh, yeah. I'm a country mouse. We rural folk are a little more accustomed to the power outages during stormy weather. Some of us, though, better prepared than others. I thought I was doing pretty well by picking up a sandwich on my way home that evening, thinking the power could go out. I don't want to have to cook. Just as I was finishing my meal, off it went. And it stayed off that night and the next night. They got it on the afternoon of the following day. And thanks again to the crews that brought the power back on. You know, I generally have a rule of thumb of not working with electricity outside when it's raining. And these folks just do amazing work.
Maybe that could be a speak to us question. Tell us your weather bomb story. Dave, you have a good one because your power was out for 2 or 3 days. I think there was even a couple of light poles at the top of your driveway that were snapped in half, and that's why the power was out?
Not too far from where I live, literally 2 poles were snapped in half. And that just was an indicator of the power of the explosive cyclogenesis, which sounds like something you might have after an elaborate meal. But no.
One of these days we should get somebody on from Environment Canada to talk about that and see if we're going to have more of this.
I would imagine so, but of course I'm no expert.
So tell us your weather bomb story. Just go to the show notes where it says, speak to us. Send us your voice message. It's as easy as that. Dave, maybe you could see if Marilyn has a guest waiting.
Oh, Marilyn, who is in the green room?
Geoff Ball, the executive director of Milner Gardens, is waiting to chat in the green room. Thousands of people enjoy Milner Christmas Magic each year and come from all over the island to enjoy the thousands of lights and displays.
Thanks for being with us, Geoff. Tell me, how long has this Christmas Magic thing been going on?
It's been a while. We started in 2003. It was very humble beginnings. Yeah, it was a big step at the time, and we're very proud of where it's evolved to.
I must imagine when you think back to the first year, for example, compared to where you are now, because I imagine you amp it up from year to year. So looking back, It must have been a fairly simple project, perhaps, in retrospect.
It was daunting at the time, but when I look back from where we started to where we are, it was, very humble, very simple. We actually had volunteers who would lead people from our welcome center all the way down to the main part of the garden by flashlight in the very first year. That's no longer a thing. Still recommend bringing them, but yeah, it's changed an awful lot.
What is the origin story for Christmas Magic?
It started in 2003. It started as a way to offer a winter feature to the community. At that point, we ourselves were very young. We had only opened in 2001 to the public. So it was a marketing way to get people to become familiar with us. So it invited a different group of people than we had been seeing. And it was a fundraiser. The garden just needs to do fundraising and relies on that. It's helped us over the years tremendously to engage with the community, welcome people in, let them see it through a different lens, and it has helped to support the operation significantly.
So obviously, Christmas lights. Care to expand in terms of attractions and displays?
Again, we've grown an awful lot. We certainly have thousands of light strands on the trees and the shrubs and in the gardens, which is beautiful and charming. We've built features. There's a number of settings. Many people who've been before will know Swan Lake, beautiful set of archways. Last year, and we were expanding on it, I think the big hit last year was the umbrella display. We've doubled down on that. So it's a gorgeous display of lit, hanging, colored umbrellas with a fantastic setting in it. So you walk underneath all these lit umbrellas. It's really quite different and quite striking. And then we have great window displays. The very generous volunteers have spent weeks setting up the different rooms. So as you look in, there's all these little charming vignettes to look into the house. Oh yeah, lots of different things.
I thought at some point you just stopped counting the number of lights.
We did. About 10 years ago, we tried to count the number of lights, and we got so busy that we just couldn't spend time counting it. But at that point, halfway through setup, we were at about 50,000 lights. That was 10 years ago, halfway through setup, and we've grown tremendously. So we're certainly well over 100,000 lights. If somebody wants to volunteer, we would love to have someone come out and do the math and walk around with a ticker, but probably getting well over 125,000 lights or so.
What is the story behind holiday specs? What are they? What do they do?
Holiday specs were something we tried several years ago. It's a little cardboard set of glasses you can pick up and buy fairly cheaply. When you look through them, every little bright light will show up as a feature. So if you have a candy cane one, when you look at a tree of bright white lights, you'll see thousands of little candy canes dancing around the lights. It's kind of trippy, but you can get them in Santas and snowflakes and gingerbread men. So it's quite different to walk around seeing the candy canes sparkle all through the garden. So they're for sale. Just as you walk in, we sell them for $4 a piece. They're a big hit, and I know why. They're a neat way to experience the garden.
Different.
Very different. Yeah.
Now, have you managed to book the Clauses for this year?
We have. Santa and Mrs. Claus, again, very generous with their schedule. They're planning on being here every night we're open. They'll see as many kids as they can. There is a reality that for some reason they're very popular. So there are going to be nights where they can only accommodate a certain number of people. So we do recommend come early if you're out to see Santa, or come on one of our quieter days. We're anticipating Thursdays will be one of the quieter days, but they will welcome and love to hear all the stories and wish lists from all the children they possibly can listen to. We're very grateful for their time that they spend here.
For those wandering about, I'm sure you must provide some kind of refreshment.
We do. Actually, this year, on several of the nights, we'll actually have a beverage food truck up near the top. So if you're cold and you come off the highway, off out of the parking lot, there should be an option to pick up something near the Welcome Center. And then down at the house, we've got our food tent offering hot chocolate and baked cookies, hot dogs and chili and a number of hot treats. Yeah, come down and grab something warm to put in your belly as you enjoy the lights.
I imagine on the busier nights, parking might become an issue. How do you deal with that?
We accommodate everybody we can in our parking lot, but the way it's grown, we'll see thousands of people in the night some nights. This year, we're very happy to say that on the Saturdays and Sundays, we've partnered with the RDN and RDN Transit. And so from the Civic Center to Milner Gardens, there'll be a shuttled service. You're welcome to park at the Qualicum Beach Civic Center, catch the bus, and it'll drop you off right at our entryway. So that's an easy way to avoid the parking challenges. We know that there will be a number of people who will want to park or have the option to park on the highway. By all means, people can drop off their guests at our Welcome Center and then go park, just to save especially the younger and the older legs the walk-in. There's always that option.
Of course, we have to talk about the specifics in terms of tickets and costs and hours of operation, etc.
First of all, the event runs Thursday to Sunday for the following weekend. So the 12th through the 15th, and then the 19th through the 22nd. The gates open at 5 o'clock is when we will let people go into the garden and into the light show. Last admission at 8 o'clock, and we stop viewing at 8:30. And lots of opportunities to come through the evening. It's a suggested donation, so $8 an adult, $4 a child, $20 a family. A recommended donation. Look forward to welcoming as many people as we can.
How much time do you think someone should plan in order to be able to see the whole thing?
I think most people, when they come to enjoy the lights, probably spend 45 minutes to an hour and a half, something like that, depending if they want to have a bite to eat and if they're going to come see Santa. If you're just coming to walk through the lights and an enjoyable pace, yeah, you're looking at a good 40 minutes or so.
You know, there aren't too many places around here that can honestly say the Queen of England slept here. Milner Gardens is one of them. I'm supposing it's really the only one. Their Christmas light show is a must-see, especially if you happen to have a pair of those groovy glasses. Thanks again to Geoff Ball.
Dave, I ran across an interesting question the other day, and I thought I would ask it of you.
Okay.
If you could have dinner with anyone, living or dead, who would it be? From present day or history?
Let me pull one, maybe surprise you with this. The first name that comes to mind, Jesus Christ. I'm not particularly a church-going guy, but I think that would be one heck of a dinner companion.
I would think so, too.
How about yourself?
Well, I've been asked this before. That's why I asked it of you, but I thought John F. Kennedy, because he was at the center of civil rights movement in the United States at that time in the 60s. Yeah, it would be interesting to sit down and chat with him for an hour or two about what was going on and how things were coming about.
If I had a second choice, Taylor Swift. No, I couldn't help it.
You could probably have dinner with Taylor Swift, but I'm sure you'd have to get past Travis Kelce first.
Listen up, whether you're a longtime local or just discovering our corner of paradise, tune into The Pulse, where every conversation adds to the life of island living. And sign up. Subscribe now to catch every episode.
The website, thepulsecommunity.ca, offers the latest podcasts, events, municipal notices, photos, and contests, so make sure you mark it on your favorites.
We have a couple of guests coming up on future episodes. Want to mention the newly minted MLA for Oceanside Ladysmith, Stephanie Higginson. And if you have a question you'd like us to consider for the interview, you can text us or email us. You'll find our contact information in the story note and at thepulsecommunity.ca. Let's check and see who Marilyn has waiting in the green room to talk with us next.
Hey guys, waiting to chat in the green room are Robin Mair and Monica Scott of Mint Cleaning of Ucluelet. They recently appeared on an episode of Dragon's Den and were offered deals from the dragons.
Welcome to the podcast, ladies.
We're so happy to be here.
Robin, you and I met a few years ago in Ucluelet when you were opening your retail store, Mint Cleaning, for cleaning products. Why cleaning products?
Good question. Monica and I met at a mom get-together 7 years ago, and we started a cleaning company because it had good hours, and we both were new moms, and we couldn't go back to our previous jobs. And so we were cleaning all day, every day, using those harsh cleaning chemicals. We both got quite sick. So we really wanted to make a change to use healthier products, but we couldn't really find healthy, eco-friendly cleaning products that worked and that we liked using. So we started making our own products. Fast forward to today, we are now running Mint Cleaning products, and we're in over 250 stores across Canada. Was recently on the Dragon's Den, got a deal with 2 dragons, and we have our retail store in Ucluelet as well as a thriving online e-commerce store.
So what's in it, or maybe what's not in it, that makes the products unique?
We use plant-based surfactants. We use essential oils. We don't shy on the essential oils, so they smell amazing. It's like you're at a spa while you're cleaning and you get the benefits of using essential oils while cleaning. Also, the fact that we were professional cleaners for so many years, we knew exactly how these products needed to be formulated. We knew glass cleaners need to be fast drying, floor washes need to be fast drying. All-purpose has to be degreasing. We knew what needed to go on each product to make it stand out as a commercial grade product.
So when you say professional cleaners, were you working in the tourism industry in Ucluelet and Tofino?
Yeah, we did both. So we had about 50 vacation rental properties and we had 12 staff. We also did residential cleans, commercial cleans, sort of everything. But our main bread and butter was the vacation rentals. As out in Ucluelet here in Tofino, almost every property has a B&B on it. So it was no shortage of work for us.
That's a lot of bathrooms.
Yes.
Yeah.
How much time transpired between the time that you pitched the program producers and that you actually appeared in the studio in front of the Dragon's Den?
It was a very quick process. Actually, they reached out to us and said, we see you have a good business. Would you love to audition for the Dragon's Den? We auditioned in February. We got the call March, and we were in Toronto by May. It was a quick turnaround. We didn't have much time to prepare, but it all worked out.
I think in the end, that was a good thing because the amount of nerves that we had about it, if I had to wait even more months, I think it would have been a lot harder. So I was grateful in a way that it was like, it's go time. Let's just do this. It wasn't not enough time to think about it and get too in your head.
And it's a little bit of planes, trains, and automobiles to get from Ucluelet to Toronto, isn't it?
That's right.
Yeah.
It's a 5-hour drive to the ferry, a ferry ride, and then a 5-hour, 6-hour flight.
What's it like standing in front of the dragons? It must be somewhat nerve-wracking.
Yeah, it was really sweaty.
Yeah.
It was definitely the scariest thing that I've ever done personally. I'm sure Monica can probably say.
Yeah.
It was pretty intense. Before you go on, you have to go backstage. You get all mic'd up and then you go backstage. And then this big clock in front of you that has a countdown of 5 minutes before you actually go out and start pitching. And those 5 minutes were the longest 5 minutes of our entire life. I remember just sitting there, what is going to happen? We were so scared. But
I was so close to running. I remember just like that fight or flight. Like, I have 30 seconds to get out of here.
So it was very nerve-wracking, but I think we were really prepared. We actually hired a pitch coach to teach us how to pitch, how to stand. There's so many like idiosyncrasies of how to present your voice and what to do backstage beforehand to get yourself ready. We've just practiced our pitch. I can't even tell you how many times we did it, probably like thousands of times, just like walking down the street, practicing our pitch. So we really were prepared with our numbers and what we were going to say. And I think that helped a lot.
You mentioned to the Dragons that you were looking for a deal as you wanted to scale from those 200 or so stores that you're currently in and work on your distribution.
As you mentioned, we're in a small town here in Ucluelet of about 1,500, 2,000 people. So I think what shocked them the most is we're still distributing ourselves out of here. We're the first business ever on the West Coast to have multiple. We have Canada Post coming and picking up from us, UPS picking up from us, Canpar. So we've grown that much that we've set these scaling things that have never happened in this small town. So that's pretty cool. But yeah, to get that worldwide domination that we were talking about, we obviously need a secondary distribution location. And I think that's the thing. They ask these questions. You're like, we need mentorship. We need help. We're a couple of moms that started a cleaning business and this took off and now we're here. I think for us, the biggest thing was, distribution. But I think for us, I don't know if you agree, I think it was just the mentorship and the contacts and the help in that way.
What was your initial reaction when Michelle Romanow and Brian Scudamore offered you a deal? What factors influenced your decision to say yes?
I think the first thing was relief. I'm like, Manjit offered us a deal first. And as soon as Manjit offered, we're like, oof, okay, we can relax. We got a deal on TV. This is what we wanted. This is what we came for. Manjit offered a deal. And we're like, okay. And then all the other dragons started offering deals. We originally wanted Brian or Michelle going into it because Michelle is the e-commerce queen. And that's where we really want to grow the business. So she's really good at that direct to consumer online sales. And then Brian is like a Vancouver entrepreneur. He just seems really fun. And he's like the franchise guy. So we were also thinking maybe we can franchise our store, and we just really liked his vibes. So we were thinking Michelle or Brian were our top. It was just such a relief. We were flabbergasted.
Yeah, and they did a deal together. So it's interesting.
And for those who don't know, Brian Scudamore's business is 1-800-GOT-JUNK, and he's expanding in areas that involve the home.
And he's in every major city in USA, Canada, and Australia. He's a billionaire. So
we want him on our team.
Just imagine if every one of those houses needed to be cleaned and they were using Mint cleaning products.
That was part of the reason Brian is as well, like Robin said in the beginning, we knew he had his Shack Shine business. So we were like, there's opportunities there for sure. So
it was a good fit.
Can you elaborate on how that partnership with Michelle and Brian has impacted the business since the show aired? What kind of support and guidance have they provided?
When you have a dual deal, just one of them spearheads it. So in our case, it was Michelle and her team. So within the first week we got back, they actually contacted us. So it was obviously, Rob and I were so nervous, and her team was just be prepared. It's going to be like the Dragon's Den, lots of questions. As the conversations went on, I think with Michelle and her partner, they really wanted us to grow the business to 30 million in a year. It was a little bit overwhelming with our business and where we're at coming into just the holiday season and everything. And then we met Brian's team. And it couldn't be more of a fit. Like they were just so our kind of people, just relaxed, slow and steady pace, and just the way we wanted to do it. It definitely immediately clicked with Brian and his team versus Michelle. So we ended up just actually doing Brian for the full deal.
And it still works. We haven't signed anything yet.
Yeah,
this stuff takes so long. So we're still in lawyer talks and our accountant, and there's lots of back and forth. So we haven't signed the dotted line yet, but hopefully in the next couple of weeks, we'll make it final.
Can you share some insights into the market and how your company stands out in the industry?
I think that our biggest difference is we are the face of our brand. We love to grow our online community. Community is our biggest number one value for our business. So we want to be that direct link to our customers. We answer every DM, every email. We have such a small team and we're so engaged with our community. And I think a lot of other businesses, they don't really have that online social media presence. They're not dancing to Backstreet Boys on their Instagram like we do, embarrassingly. But I think that's just such a huge value to us. And we're offering that education. A lot of people actually don't know how to clean, we realized after starting this. So we really want to be that resource for education and community and something beyond just selling a product on the shelf.
You mentioned that you answer those DMs and those emails, and maybe you can share a couple of unique stories from customers who have used the products and gotten back to you.
We have so many, even today, just people writing and grateful and feeling so good after cleaning. We get that daily. My favorite story, I have to say, is in town here. We switched over the big resort in town here, switched over to the housekeeping using all of Mint cleaning products. So that was a couple of years ago. They were the first out of all of them here to switch over. We ended up getting this feedback from one of the cleaners, and she said she was actually starting to lose her hair on the top of her head. Then she wrote us once they switched to Mint cleaning products, she actually started growing her hair back. It's crazy to know what's in those cleaners. To go back to when we were using them, Robin actually got so sick she had scarring on her lungs. So that's actually what started us to switch. So I think a lot of people don't understand what's in these chemical cleaners that they're using every day, especially for cleaning businesses and housekeepers, and businesses aren't keeping them safe and they're getting sick from them. So that's my favorite story. I think she was so sweet, and just to know that it impacted her that much was amazing to hear.
Great story. All of the dragons are very impressive individuals with big resumes and portfolios. Did you get to meet any of the dragons after the show was over, after you finished taping? If so, who were you most impressed with?
Yeah, we actually met everyone except for Manjit. So we met up obviously with Michelle, and then we had a meeting with Brian and his team. And then we actually sent Wes some of our products after, and he was so great. He was actually one of our favorite dragons, even though he didn't offer us a deal. He was the only one that didn't offer us a deal. And then we actually had a meeting with Arlene too, which was amazing to get that mentorship too. So we had an hour-long meeting with her. They're all so great. And you realize like they're humans too. They're people. They're trying their best and they really want to help small businesses. Sometimes it doesn't show that on TV. They are dragons, but that is their main mission, is to help small businesses like us, which is so awesome.
I've been watching Dragon's Den since it first began. I've never missed a show, and I've been known to watch some repeats, much to the chagrin of my wife. And there's usually a lesson to be learned from the dragons while they're peppering you with questions. So did you learn anything from the Dragon's Den experience? Any lessons, any influences or strategies in any way?
I think my biggest takeaway is actually knowing your business and knowing all the numbers. I think so many of us have businesses or whatever, but you actually don't know your proper profit and loss statements and all this information we had to get together and know all these questions they might ask us. I actually was like, wow, I'm learning so much about our business I didn't know. Not that you need to know your business. Everybody can say, oh, my accountant has that, but advocating and knowing your numbers, knowing your business inside and out was like one of my biggest takeaways from them.
Totally. I agree.
Hey, Robin, I understand your brother was on the show at one point.
Yes, he was back in 2006 when it just started. My parents, they're very proud. They get 2 kids that were on Dragon's Den. Not many parents can say that. So that's pretty cool.
That is for sure. And what was he pitching?
He has a funny business. He's in the clothing business. So he makes clothing out of wool socks, that Canadian classic. So his big thing are mittens and hats out of wool socks.
He's got the best blankets.
He's doing well. Yeah.
He'll always have a market.
Yeah, exactly. Canadians will always be cold.
Yeah.
Ladies, what advice do you have for aspiring entrepreneurs that are looking to make a mark in the world of business?
We have a couple quotes we like. I know my favorite one is, if you're not embarrassed of your first launch, you launch too late. So I think just go for it and do it. I think I talk to so many entrepreneurs that are like, well, I'm just waiting for this and not quite ready. When this happens, then I'll do it. And I'm like, oh, just do it. And then make the mistakes as you go along and fix them. But if you hesitate too long, you're going to miss the boat. So I love that quote personally.
I think my biggest advice to new entrepreneurs is like harnessing the power of social media. I think everyone has a story to be told. I think the community is craving good stories, and we always want to hear good stories. And I think every business has an amazing story, and really use those platforms to get your name out, and don't be afraid to do that. I think there's so much potential in social media, and 99% of our sales come from Instagram. So it's been huge for us. That's my biggest advice to new entrepreneurs.
It's free marketing.
Yeah.
Robin, Monica, thanks very much for being with us today.
We appreciate it. Thank you.
You know, there's an aspect of Dragon's Den that's kind of like watching someone win the lottery or not. Robin and Monica put in the work and now they're seeing it pay off. And who doesn't like a success story? Hey, we have something of interest to parents and kids alike. Details after this.
At Thrifty Foods, we love to help nonprofits, charities, and schools. Our Thrifty Foods Smile Card bulk program allows organizations to immediately save up to 6% on the purchase of Smile Cards in bulk, allowing you to keep more money in your organization's pockets. Ask for details at Thrifty Foods in Parksville, a proud sponsor of the PQ Pulse podcast with Peter and Dave.
The Pulse Community Podcast is sponsored in part by SOS. For more than 55 years, the SOS Caring for Community at Christmas program has ensured that local children, youth, adults, and seniors experience the joy of the holidays. The thrill of finding a gift under the tree, the happiness that comes from sharing food that has special meaning. To donate to the SOS Caring for Community at Christmas program, visit sosd69.com or call 250-248-2093.
Peter and I are assembling a separate podcast series, and it's for young children, and for that matter, it's for their parents too, as we present children's stories as podcasts. Download them to your phone and you're good to go. We call this series Skookum Kid Stories, delightful original stories about a boy named Peter and his pet Eskimo dog Gracie. They're always finding adventure.
We also have the delightful adventures of Captain Dave of the Mellow Submarine in Deep Bay. He and Larry the Lobster find excitement above and below the waterline. You'll find those Pulse podcasts and Skookum Kid Stories on thepulsecommunity.ca, skookumkids.com, Apple, Spotify, iHeart, Amazon, and YouTube.
We would love to hear from you. Comments, voice messages, suggestions for future guests or topics, all are welcome. You'll find our contact information and links on the website and in the show notes.
Okay, Dave, time to see what Mabel has written on the special board down at the cafeteria today.
Hey, I'm hoping it's bologna stew. You've been telling me about this. Sounds like it's good.
Bologna stew is great. And there's lots of bologna here, so why shouldn't there be lots of bologna there?
Off to the bologna.
Here come Peter, here comes Dave. Oh, listen. Bringing stories, making waves. No missing. Spinning tales in the podcast cave. So sweet. Laughs and insights everywhere. What a treat.